Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded for Friday Night SmackDown, where I take a look at the show segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. Now, there's actually graded this week because there's actually an episode of full SmackDown, like a proper episode. So without any further ado, let's crack on with it. Hit the intro. So we kick things off with a Matt Riddle in-ring interview. Michael Cole is in the ring and he addresses Riddle's victory over Styles, and Riddle's like, you know what, it was like an outer body experience. So Cole, being the news hound he is, straight in with the questions. Why do you wrestle barefoot? Riddle tells us that when he was younger his family took him on a holiday to Wisconsin, which, weird, but okay. Took him on a holiday to Wisconsin and he was between the pool and the snow, and he essentially got some sort of frostbite type thing going on with his feet. If he wears shoes, then it gives him like a burning sensation and all of this nonsense, when he's actually already stated in an interview that he transitioned to barefoot wrestling because it was just more comfortable when he was doing it while he was training for jiu-jitsu. And yeah, so which one is it, Matt? Which one? Either way, he's cut off by Corbin. So yeah, Corbin comes down, Corbin runs him down, he calls him an idiot, he calls Cole an idiot, and he commands Riddle to bow before his king. Riddle is not going to do that, and Corbin starts going really in on it. He's just having a go at him, and he's goading him a little bit, as if, come on, you want a match with me? Alright. And then Riddle's like, takes all his gear off, squares up to him, and Corbin's like, You're not wrestling me, I'm not going to wrestle you. You can't just walk in and wrestle the king, you're going to wrestle this guy. And then John Morrison's music hits. Because this is an opening segment, I'm going to grade it. I'm only going to give it a D, because it was nice to see some character development from Riddle here, but it was just, it wasn't that good. It was a firm reminder of how good Corbin is as a heel, though. That was great. Corbin is fantastic. People need to stop giving him crap. I love him. So when we come back from the break, we are straight into Riddle versus Morrison, and Corbin is sat at the announce table, just chiming in here and there with some one-liners. So Riddle and Morrison are going backwards and forwards. They're really struggling for power on the mat, but of course Riddle has a much stronger mat game than John Morrison. Jumbo quite early on goes full ham and just properly batters Riddle across the face. This makes him angry. He just hulks right up, and it's just suplex after suplex after suplex. I think on the third one, though, Morrison's able to flip back and lands on his feet. There's some beautiful rope work here from Morrison as well. He's like in and up and around the corners and doing all this stuff that looks mental, and he comes back with like a tornado, or it's like a springboard crossbody back onto Riddle and lays him out. But that's not enough. So Morrison's like, well, if that didn't work, I'm going to knee him in the face instead. That also doesn't work. And now you've got an angry Matt Riddle getting back to his feet, who's just absorbing strike after strike, and he's doing the whole, come on, like gimme all you got type thing. There's a little bit of confrontation before we go to the break. I think Riddle nails Corbin on the outside with one of his flip-flops. This causes a little bit of a breakdown as we fade out. When we come back, Riddle is in charge, but he gets caught short coming off the top. He eats 2 Spanish flies, but that will not put him away. One of the Spanish flies was also off the top, but now he's just not getting put down today. At this point, we enter this near fall, psych out, reversal, insanity phase, and then Miz and Corbin get in and try and distract him. I've just realised I don't think I said that at the start. Miz is at ringside, of course, with Morrison. During the confusion, though, Riddle is able to capitalise. He grabs Morrison and small packages him for the win. And then post-bell, it's all a bit weird. Riddle's halfway up the ramp, and then Styles appears, lays Riddle out, and he's beating him down. And then Gulak appears and lays Styles out, and he's beating him down, and then we go to a break. So this one gets a B+. The match was bloody entertaining. You've got Riddle looking like $1 million, and Morrison just quietly busting out amazing matches whenever he can be bothered. Morrison's the best. I'm not going to put an image up here either because it's super quick, but backstage, Miz, Corbin and Morrison are all, after the break, scratching their heads and arguing between each other, and Corbin's like, well, you know what, I'm going to sort of pull the rug out from underneath him. We're going to see if we can cut this little career of his short. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak, of course, because they'd all spilled onto the ramp, this time for the IC Championship. So when we come into the match, it's already been started. AJ is dominating over Red, White and Blue Lex Gulak, or Drew Red, White and Blue Lack. He was wearing red, white and blue because, July 4th. So the central thread in this one is evident from pretty much the start. Gulak is trying everything in his power to put a little bit of distance between him and AJ, get up on his feet, and then come in and have a proper, straight one-on-one match. AJ, however, is able to capitalise, and AJ's just grinding him down and grinding him down. Whenever Gulak gets up, AJ's levelling him back down. There's this horrible looking dragon screw leg whip early on from AJ. He then starts focusing over and over. I think it's the right knee of Gulak. He's just really trying to work into it. Every chance he gets, he's going after that knee. It's evident as well later on because Gulak gets up and I think he's trying to get to his feet to lay in a strike, but when he's stepping on it, it's a little bit like, whew. There's a horrible looking dragon screw leg whip, and then AJ doubles down on it like he's attacking this knee over and over again, and then he locks in the calf crusher on it. Gulak is able to reverse this though. AJ peels out of the ring, and then Gulak does like a baseball slide kick and sends AJ flying a little bit up the ramp before we head to another break. However, when we're back, AJ is pretty much back in charge. Gulak is quickly driven into the post and worked over, and AJ's got him on the floor. He's just back on the offensive. Gulak does have one last burst of kicks though. It hits that beautiful, awful looking Michinoku driver. Awful in like a good way, but like a horrible way at the same time, because the landing just looks, but you know, it looks great. But yeah, I got excited there about that high angle Michinoku driver. It all falls apart for Gulak here because he gets caught into a Styles clash, but then maliciously Styles nails him with it, and then he just rolls over and sits up, and the referee's like, what are you doing? And Styles is just like, nah, it doesn't end this way. Gets Gulak up and puts him over the top rope, and Gulak's just hanging there. He's done. And then Styles is just waiting and waiting on the apron. Gulak turns, nails him with a phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed this match, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the first encounter. Styles was dominant as hell throughout, but almost too dominant. It sort of makes sense though, considering that his belt is on the line here, that he made it very clear he doesn't want to just be handing out title shots. And it's the type of thing where he may, he may just turn it on and get pretty violent and horrible like he did here with Gulak whenever somebody tries to take it off him. But yeah, Gulak sort of got ragdolled. It worked, but I would have just liked to have been able to see him get just a little bit more in. But I'm going to give it, just for that, all as a big package, I'm going to give it a B-. Next up, we have Sasha and Bayley in the ring, who are here to brag. They're bragging about the week they've had. They own every show in WWE, they own every brand, and nobody gives them the respect that they deserve. Typical heel promo. But they say nobody, but there is actually one person, and it was The Undertaker. He apparently called Bayley and Sasha, and he was like, you guys are the best, you're the best of all time. And, he's just really, really putting him over on his way out, because Taker's now gone, of course. He's not going to come back, not even for Saudi Arabia. Bayley then wants to do a tribute to herself and Sasha, and so they roll this really biased VT. The VT is full of them just, blowing smoke up their own bums and just telling everybody that they're the best. But mercifully, they're cut off by Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Obviously, with Nikki going up against Bayley at the horror show at Extreme Rules, Sasha's got some stern words for her. She doubts the credibility of Nikki, the fact that she could even get anywhere near winning the belt. And Nikki's like, you know what? I'm all heart, and my heart's what got me here, and my heart tells me that I can win that belt, and they laugh at her. And that is too much for Alexa Bliss. She's just like, nah, that's it, that's the line. And she just lays out Bayley. Just right hook, bang, down goes Bayley. Sasha, who's now super excited and high energy, is like, whoa, why should we wait? Let's have a taste of it right now. Come on, Alexa. Come on, Bayley. Let's have a match. And Bayley's like, what are you doing? No. Sasha has had her revenge here. So yeah, next up we have Alexa Bliss versus Bayley, non-title. Bayley doesn't even have a gear. She's just there in her clothes. She just rocked up to the Performance Center in today to gloat. But Alexa has Bayley under control here. She's just hurling her around the ring. She's beating her down. Bayley is very much at the mercy of the 5 Feet of Fury here. Things do, however, quickly spill to the floor, with Bliss getting distracted by Sasha, and this allows Bayley to capitalise and, lead the match. She starts just working over Bliss's arm again and again and again, to the point where Bliss is really holding it. I think, again, she goes for a strike. We saw it earlier. Goes for a strike with it, and her arm is just knackered. She's just in a lot of pain, no matter what she's going to do with it. I've made a note of it here, so I'll just read it out. There's not really a lot of super exciting spots or dramatic moments in this match. It's more about the psychology. Things like what's about to happen, which, Bayley has got Bliss down. She's just looking at Nikki on the outside. She doesn't break that stare. She's just burning a hole in her with like her laser eyes as she's just beating Alexa down and working her over. It's like, this is what's coming to you. She starts stepping all over her, and then the referee gets distracted and Alexa's thrown headfirst into the women's title, which is around the waist of Sasha Banks. And Nikki, for her, that's too much. She goes round, she interjects, the ref sees it, the match is thrown out as a DQ. So overall, I'm going to give this one a B. As I said, the match itself wasn't really anything to write home about, but it was more the psychology. Like, Bayley just staring that hole in Nikki, and just, like, as she's showing her what she's going to do to her, like, that's pretty cool. But on top of that, you've got the dynamic between Bayley and Sasha, with Bayley being finally thrown under the bus by Sasha. Sasha finally getting one up on Bayley for, like, jobbing her out essentially over and over again without giving her any time to prepare for the matches. She's thrown Bayley into that situation, and then, not only that, she was wearing Bayley's title at ringside. I think there's some deeper meaning to this, and I'm hoping that it's all going to unravel soon, because this, it's going to be such an explosion when it happens. And next up we have the final match of the night, which is Kofi Kingston versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We have Cesaro and Big E at ringside, and this one starts with Kofi just exploding onto Nakamura. Just second that bell's gone, massive drop kick into the corner. Nakamura, of course, responds in kind. He's the king of strong style. There's a bit of a brawl between them, and then it spills to the floor. He manages to avoid a dive, but then he's hurled into a barricade, and Big E is just crouched down over him, like squatting over him, and laughing like an evil witch. It's just, he's a treasure, isn't he? Things then fall apart in a big way. Cesaro sort of goads Big E. There's a bit of back and forth. It all devolves into a bit of a brawl. And then Jessica Carr's like, both ears, get out. So Cesaro and Big E are ejected from ringside. But when we come back, both men are trading blows. Nakamura is firmly in charge, but Kofi's starting to find his rhythm a little bit. He's ducking moves here and there. He's managing to evade him in the corner. He's getting back on the front foot. There's a cool moment with Kofi coming off the top rope and getting caught into like a roll-up pin position by Nakamura, but it's unsuccessful. And then there's just back and forth pin attempts from both guys, because nothing wears your opponent out more than just repeatedly trying to pin them. Kofi then goes for the SOS Connect, but it's not enough to put Nakamura away. And then just as it looked like Kofi had it sealed, Nakamura hits like the shortest Kinshasa in the world, straight to the back, or like the side back of Kofi's head. Kofi is out cold. Nakamura wins the match. Cesaro then comes down and, just goes straight for a table, throws it into the ring. He's about to climb into the ring when Big E turns up and fights them both off and sends them packing. I'm going to give this one a B-. I really enjoyed the match. Both guys are, of course, just amazing professionals. I think if you put these two together 5 nights in a row, you get a different match every night and it'd be just as entertaining. I also really think that Kofi fighting the uphill battle is always a great match. Nakamura was just a little bit too fast for him, it seemed, at the start, and he'd get a little moments where he could interject, but then he'd be quickly taken down. But then he slowly puts that distance there, he learns how to approach Nakamura, and yeah, it's like watching him uncover how to defeat a boss, basically, in a video game. It's great. Nakamura, of course, looks like a credible threat, because he is a credible threat. He's Shinsuke Nakamura, but it was maybe just a tiny bit one-sided. And finally, we have, in our main event segment tonight, a toast to Jeff Hardy, and there is a bar set up in the ring with a load of booze on it and a waiter. So out comes Jeff and he's like, I want Sheamus out here right now. I will not be embarrassed. Sheamus turns up on the Tron. He's at home in his own bar. He welcomes us to this bar. It's called Shamey's Bar. I like it, Shamey. I think you're great. I'm going to call you Shamey from now on. Yeah. So Shamey says that he's going to give Jeff some space this week. He's like, you've been through a lot. I think it's best for me to just give you this little bit of distance so you can chill. But, it must have felt great being applauded and everything last week. I bet that it gave you a little bit of an endorphin rush. You want to be careful with that, though, because, that's just going to set you off on a slippery slope. Sheamus then tells Jeff that he's pathetic, that seeing him breaks his heart. Like, this time it'll be different, it won't happen again, he's going to stay clean, but we all know it's not going to happen. It's like just it's so uncomfortable, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, but I'm trying to just disregard that. Sheamus then tells him that the solution to his problem is at the bottom of one of the bottles there in front of him. He calls him a junkie, and then Jeff just sort of goes to him and he's like, it's not funny, this is my life, it's not funny. Sheamus then calls for the toast, and his waiter then picks up the champagne flute and holds it full of champagne, just about a foot from Jeff Hardy's face, and Jeff is not even going to look at him. He's just staring straight ahead, and he's trying not to let this affect him in any way. Jeff then grabs the glass, pours it on the waiter, turns around, picks up a bottle of wine, looks at it, and then just smashes it into this innocent man's face. He's Sheamus's waiter, apparently, like Sheamus's barman from Shamey's bar, and Jeff's just assaulted him. But this is going to be a weird one. I'm going to have to explain myself. I'm going to give this segment a B. Now, as uncomfortable as this storyline is, and I've said before that I don't really like stuff like this when it's based off real life past problems and it's just worked into an angle, and having seen what alcoholism can do to somebody firsthand myself, it's not something that I'm like, yeah, this is a great story. This for me is a bit, should we really be doing this? And that's the approach I've been taking so far. But if you can take off that hat and just put it to the side and go with it, what we've got here in the middle is at least a positive story in Jeff realising that he's just got to resist his demons and that everything will be fine and nothing will ever be able to hurt him again so long as he doesn't fall off that path. And we've got Sheamus being a horrible, horrible bastard, just awful, an awful heel. And it's proof that Sheamus is one of the best heels they have on their roster. Now, is it an unnecessary storyline? Yes. Is it tasteless? Yes. Is that going to stop them doing it? No. So I think if you can just take that hat off and I guess try and see some positives, which is super hard, but it's a little bit of positive in everything, and I feel like we can take something even marginally positive away from this. And as I said, it's incredibly rude of Jeff to just explode on an innocent barman like that. But in terms of an overall grade for SmackDown this week, I'm going to give it a B-. It was a fairly strong week featuring some great in-ring work, and it was more ring-centric than backstage. There wasn't really any backstage promos, there was only the one this week. But the best thread of the week, I think, goes to Sasha and Bayley. This is all starting to unravel, and we're at the very, very, very tip of the iceberg here. We're at the crack that's literally just formed, and it's about to go but we've just got to bide our time. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Is Sasha going to continue to throw Bayley on the bus? Is she just going to betray her? It's awkward because they're both just, heel. Which one do you turn face? You can't turn Bayley face this quickly, but then Sasha as a face may be a little bit boring. Yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. Let's hope that they can negotiate their way out of it without it causing too much damage. But that has been graded for this week's SmackDown. I hope you're all having a wonderful time out there. If you are one of the lunatics that's going to be going to a bar today, please wear a mask. Please just look after yourself and look after everybody else. I'll be staying indoors. There's not a chance you're going to get me out of here today. But yeah, stay safe. I'll see you later.